Got the live screen on. 11:59. It's pretty good, huh? So, good afternoon, everyone. This is our chat with the chief session for May. I'll be here today, this afternoon, from 12 to 1. Kind of impressed. I got here a little bit early. Overachiever today. But from 12 to 1 today, we'll have some conversations and some interaction. And then I'll be back 6 o'clock this evening. This is just an opportunity for me to interact with citizens and individuals. If you have a comment or suggestion or idea, a question, it kind of takes the place of a community meeting, if you will, which is different for me as I've evolved into some of the social media aspect. So I'm going to ask the first question that I always ask for anyone out there who may be tuned in to please let me know if the sound is okay and the visual is okay. Matt's with me today, so he's got me covered, but I just wanted to make sure that everything is coming across all right and we sound all right and that the visual is looking okay. But today I want to talk a little bit about Police Week. We'll talk about some things we have coming up this weekend and some conversations, really fielding your questions, what you might have or want to talk about or issues, some things as we look into the summer. Moving forward about some initiatives that I'd like to do this summer, focusing on some traffic things. Our school resource officers will be out of school, so we'll be using some of that manpower to deal with events and interact with youth. We have some youth camps coming up, so I just want to talk about that. So, good afternoon, Chief. Sounds good and looks good. Perfect. Thank you very much, and thanks for being with us today. I appreciate that. So, like I said, this is our afternoon session. I want to just share a couple things we'll start out with, but my intent really is your opportunity to ask or interact, touch base, any concerns or issues that you all might have. So, I'll start off with we question from how's the department facing with filling vacancies? Doug, that is a great question. Matter of fact, we had our staff meeting. We have a staff meeting every Monday at 1 o'clock. The first half of that, we go around and talk about issues in the department, what's going on last week, what's going on this week. We take a break. In the second half, we talk about crime numbers, trends, and patterns, what we're looking at. One of the issues that we talked about heavily was vacancies in our organization and in two areas. I guess really three: patrol, staffing, communications, Department of Communications, 911 operators fall under the police department, and then our civilian. We are doing really, really well with filling civilian vacancies. And the couple of things we talk about is bringing on, we hire 2 social workers. We hire them, we send them over to Human Services to get trained, and then bring them back. We're moving, I'm really happy where we're at there. Our records division, people that work behind the scenes, we get a lot of applications. We're down 1 forensic technician. We'll be hiring a forensic technician, crime analyst. So we're doing really well there. Officers, that's a struggle for us, a challenge, I should say, for us, and I think multiple departments across the area. As I talk to the other chiefs of issues that they're having, and departments that are, the 757 area, the Hampton Roads area here, and then across the state, as well as other cities, other states. So one of the things we've gone to once a month, probably will in the next couple months will be 2 a month, all-day recruiting events where individuals can come and do about 6 different things in one day, one afternoon, one morning, if you will, as opposed to coming and doing one, then leaving, then coming back, right? And then pre-hiring, bringing people on early. So that has been pretty beneficial for us as we're seeing some individuals from around our area and other localities, even out of state, come to the department. So currently, I can tell you we're authorized 472 officers. We currently have 21 in one academy. We have a smaller academy of 14. So the 21 in the academy graduate in August. The 14 will graduate, I believe it is October or 1st of November. Then we're looking to hire a large class for August. Our goal is to have about 35 in that class. So currently, right now, we're down about 40 vacancies. The problem with that is the 21 that are not on the street, that takes us to 61. And then the 14 that are in class, that's 71. That's 75. That's 75 people that I need out there. You know, everybody deals with injuries and light duty, and I get those things, but there's 71 people that I don't have on the street. However, uh, about 35 of those are in training right now, and we're hoping to get the other 35 hired in August. So we're moving and pushing. I get updates on that just about daily. I think that's probably one of the top three priorities of the organization. The other struggle that we're having, and I would say that is a struggle, is our 911 operators, our communicators, our dispatchers. That is a hard profession. It is challenging. Bringing individuals on, you know, and as I delve more into that, I was just talking to Captain Tegents, who is our captain over that division, and it is a stressful job, hearing individuals of what's going on and trying to process that, getting information to officers. So you may have some stressful situation, an incident, and you may be talking to someone who's at a heightened, and then you're giving that information to officers. And if it's a critical situation, officers are also adding another stimulus in there about, well, what do you have? How many shots were fired? Do they say what area it's coming from? So I believe wholeheartedly that our dispatchers should be listed and considered as first responders. The stuff that they hear, they don't get closure to that. They're dispatching things. They don't see it. They just hear it. That's a hard situation. So to bring people into that profession, and you have to be highly trained. And we're not a jurisdiction that just handles 4 or 5 calls an hour. They are hopping. The individuals we have, I think, are top notch. I would put them up against any communication center in the state, if not the country. They do amazing work, the experience they have. But we need to fill those vacancies. We're authorized 64, and we're down about 40. We have about 40 to 44, 45 right now. But some of them are just, as they're answering phones. That is an area I would like to see us increase on. So that is probably our biggest challenge, is dispatching, second with officers, and we're doing really well with civilians. So trying to get out there as much as we can and do different things and bring individuals on board, market the department. But one, we're trying to make the hiring process, the screening process, if you will, a lot easier. Pre-hiring individuals, bringing them on, let them work in different parts of the department or even in dispatch before before their academy starts. Another good thing for us is we'll be getting a new North Precinct this summer and a new training facility, a new training academy. December, right? And that's going to be a game changer for us. It'll open up a lot more classrooms. We bring in more technology. We're going to change a little bit of the structure of our academy and training. So I'm really looking forward to that. Some of the struggles we have are the same that other departments have. So it's trying to be ahead of the game, work together, what works, what doesn't work, what we tried before, revisiting it, encouraging applicants to apply. The last thing I'll say is I think that you have to market the department. And then I think that you have to make individuals feel that you want them in this locality, that you want them to come in our organization. And our background investigators do a phenomenal job. We put a lot of resources. We've increased our staffing with recruiting and background investigators and supervision there to push and just be more progressive in things that we're doing, thinking outside the box. So I'll be in probably a better place at the end of August to see how we're doing, how that class looks starting in August. Are we able to maintain the 21 that we have currently in the academy and the 14 in the second academy? So I'm interested to see, but I just got an update yesterday, and that was one of the hot topics. So that's a great question, my friend, and I appreciate that. Did I miss anybody? Anna. Let me scroll just up for a second. Good afternoon, Chief. I'm watching you. Thanks for taking the time out from your busy schedule. Oh, Miss Whalen, thank you. Thank you for everything that you do and the work that you volunteer and help out with the department and organization. We were talking about gun locks yesterday, how many we've given out. I know you played a big role in that. The stuff that you do with volunteering, the active shooters that you help us set up, and the different organizations and churches that we've been able to work with. That's an area that often goes unrewarded, is individuals who volunteer with us, whether it's our Use of Force Review Board, whether helping out with our recruiting and screening process, helping out with our promotional processes. You and Monica White just do an amazing job, and I really appreciate that and what you all bring to the table and the work that you both do. So I'm glad you're able to join us. Cameron, it's good to have you. It's 12 o'clock, man. Hope you're not in trouble in class. Maybe you're at the cafeteria right now, but it's good to have you, and I appreciate you, Cameron, a lot. Um, got the chance to hear you speak a couple times lately, and I appreciate you being at our memorial service. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, but I really appreciate you being here today, my friend. Just don't get in trouble at school, buddy. All right. Um, in school we should talk about that. That's right around the corner, graduation. So my intent is to attend every graduation here in Newport News. I think that's important to show support. You know, the three pillars I have is number two is community foundation of community policing with a big emphasis on youth. So I'm just going to pause here for a second. If you haven't seen any of our graduation ceremonies or promotion ceremonies or memorial services, if you haven't seen any of those, we always have a youth as a speaker. They're not forced to. Ask them if they would like to. But to hear young people address officers that are getting ready to graduate or from a memorial service or a promotional process or an award ceremony, I think the youth have a great voice today. And they always have. I don't know that we've always listened. And I'm trying to send a message to the youth of this community that they matter to me. I want to hear their thoughts and opinions. That's why we have that Young Adult Police Commissioner program, a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior from every high school that we meet with and interact with. But I also like the men and women of this organization to know that youth matter to me. And the different programs that I've seen some of the commissioners participate in, I just could not be more proud of them. And they've opened some doors. So we just had about 2 weeks ago, myself, and not just me, right, trying to open up the department to our high schools and our youth, our high school students. We had an open forum at every high school. Achievable Dream, Heritage High School, Warwick, Mitchville, Woodside, and who am I forgetting? And Denby. And that's where we started, right? At Denby High School, we did a forum. It was myself, someone from the training academy, an officer, Kelly Wells, who's always the star, the forensic, does all the DNA and all the different things and solves the crimes in 45 minutes with commercials. It's just a big hit. Officer Chandler, Jackson, it was just a Sergeant Carter. It's just a good event and to allow students to ask questions, why we do what we do, and then they can even ask specific questions to any of the panel members. So I really appreciate the school division, the principals allowing us to come in, and we invited those students if they wanted to attend the memorial. And I will tell you, and I'm going to talk about the memorial in just a second, but I was humbled at our police memorial service when high school students attended. That blew me away, and I like breaking down barriers and having those conversations, and they matter to me. That's our future. So, yeah, Cameron, you prompted all that, my friend. Ms. Cox, thank you for being here. I appreciate all the work you do and the advice you give us, the panels that you sit on, and helped us with some selections. Ms. Bank, thanks, Chief, for keeping us informed. Maria, you're welcome, and Maria, thank you for being here. Was there somebody before Maria that I should have said? Yep, there is. Yep. Johnson, good. John, thank you for being here, my friend. Is it Joni? Am I reading that right? Johnny. Should have wore the specs today. We got, and I should have said this before. A couple things. One, I'm going to try to respond to every post that comes through that is adding something to the conversation. I'll just say that, not just being distraction, but adding something to the conversation. And I'm not going to address comments that are attacking other people, and I'm not going to do that. And I'm not trying to do anything political. But it's my chance to interact with you if you want to talk about things that we're doing in law enforcement. So I'll leave that where it is. But the screen does jump sometimes as new comments come in. So charge that to my heart. I'm not skipping anyone on purpose. So oftentimes you will hear me ask Matt to scroll back up or scroll back down. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. And sometimes we don't see them until after the program's over. Program, is that the right word? After our session's over. If it's something that we missed, we'll try to go back and address or send a direct message to you. But I really want to try to hit every post. So Matt, I'm going to ask you to scroll back up one more time. Roman, thanks for all your, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Carrie, I got you. Ms. Banks, thank you. I appreciate that. Lucas, if I'm correct, every homicide this year has occurred in the South District. Are you pushing more resources there? Also, my usual question, where will you have the traffic and canines? So I'll start with the last and then go to the front. So we still do traffic enforcement and we still have canine, but I am a firm believer, I really would like to have those standalone divisions. Right now, because earlier we talked about the number of vacancies we have. So there's about 70 positions that I don't have out that we need out. Now, there are about 35 people in the academy who are training, but they're not in the field yet. And then we've got about 35 or 40 vacancies. And we're trying to hire a class in August to fill that. Our number one priority has to be responding to 911 calls and violent crime. That's our top priority. That's why they're listed. But I totally, and I'm I created that traffic division here. I want that. But right now, I've had to absorb that traffic and our canine into patrol to backfill vacancies. I certainly do not want an officer going to a call by themselves. I want to make sure that they're safe. I'm committed to that. And at the end of the day, patrolling our communities and responding to citizens' calls is our top priority. So when we get traffic complaints in, I'll look at what precinct they're in, and I will send them to the precinct captain to focus on that when officers aren't running other calls. However, we do have some overtime initiatives, and I'll be using some of the school resource officers to help me with that as soon as school graduates, which I think is the first or second week of June. We'll be doing some traffic initiatives through the summer. To answer your question directly, Luke, is my hope is at the end of the year I'm able to move some. I won't be able to fill all of it, I can tell you now, but to move some dedicated individuals of traffic enforcement and some canine back under special operations. It's important, but the officer safety and responding to citizens' calls is certainly going to be our top priority. So I still encourage if you have speeding complaints. Hilton had several, and we did about a 5-hour operation there the other day, and it just focused on a couple overtime positions, just doing traffic there. So trying to prioritize them. We're always looking at our hotspot locations, meaning where we have our accidents at, where we get the most speeding complaints at. So that was just a portion of trying to address some of the complaints about traffic. But I hope to bring those units back by the end of the year, a portion of them. The question in South Precinct, so you are correct. All of the homicides we've had this year have been in the South Precinct. That's different from what we saw this time last year. We were spread out a little bit more. Am I putting more resources there? So I will tell you the resources are pretty well balanced. Heavy technology there. Right now, it's a lot of where aggravated assault and homicide detectives are working at. A lot of narcotics. So the stuff, the resources are there. I would certainly like to add more. But I will also look at our clearance rates. Are we above? So the FBI sets a national average across the country. So if you have 10 burglaries, you should clear 20%. The FBI sets that average based on the totality of all the law enforcement agencies. We are above the national average in every category right now except homicides. However, we're fastly approaching that. Now, the national average right now for homicide arrest is 50%. It's 49.9%. The last several years, we have been in the high 60s or low 70s. I fully, by the cases I'm being briefed on and seeing, I believe we will be there again this year. But we have not made those arrests as quick as we have in others past. What we may know who committed the crime. Individuals may have seen it, but if they don't want to come forward and testify, it creates a hardship for us and a hardship for the Commonwealth Attorney's Office to present the case. So we have to find other avenues. Now, I'm not blaming anyone. I understand. I am a big proponent of coming forward if you see something, to say something, to know something. But I also understand that people live in areas and retaliation is a concern. I get that. But you can also help us with what direction we need to look, or what house we need to look at, or who an individual is, and it forces us to find some other angles. Maybe there's some video footage. Well, the shooting happened here, or this individual ran into here. There's footage of him running into this store, or her running into this store, or getting in this vehicle. but I don't want to come to court and testify. So we have to put those like a puzzle, putting those together. Every attorney, every police officer, every chief would love to have a witness who says, I was there, I saw it, and here's what happened. But that's just not the case. So it takes, we know in over half of our homicides who committed them. Proving it and putting a good case to the Commonwealth Attorney and getting a conviction with a jury or a judge, we have to work a little more at that. So I anticipate from what I've seen, and not just cases this year, but cases that happened last year, the last 2 or 3 years, there'll be some clearances, there'll be some arrests made this year on past cases as well. But I feel pretty good on where they're at. But technology plays a huge role. So when you talk about resources, we do have some overtime initiatives. We have our narcotics and gang unit focused very heavily in that area, and a lot of technology is placed there, which has allowed us to clear a lot of those cases. We did a study about a year ago with BCU up in Richmond, and they looked at shooting cases. So not homicides, people shot in the shoulder, hand, bottom of the foot, whatever it might be. And we're clearing right at 30% of those shootings. The study shows if you're hitting 30%, you are in 5% of the police departments across the country. Now, we structured to have our own independent aggravated assault unit that focuses just on shootings and kind of separate that from homicide. I don't want homicide to get overworked. I don't want aggravated assault to get overworked. So there's 2 different disciplines. We've increased our forensic technician. We've increased our technology. We've added on crime analysts to help us. And working with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office and working with our citizens, we are clearing right at 29.8, almost 30% of our shootings. So I could not be more impressed with that because, I worry about retaliation. One shooting may lead to another. So that's important. So our focus is always going to be in those areas where we have violent crime. But it's also where not only manpower, but technology as well. So that's a great question, my friend. You always ask good ones, and I appreciate that. Renee, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Ashley, so I was trying to update you to tell you about my traumatic brain injury your officers caused me, along with permanent hand damage. I'm disabled now and even worse off I've ever been. So, Ashley, if you'll want to post a number, I will try to get back with you, but it's not ringing a bell. But if you want to send a number, I can call you right after this meeting. I got about an hour free before my next meeting. I'll be glad to talk to you. I'm not sure which case you're referring to, but I'll be glad to talk with you. Keith, good afternoon, Chief. Hope you're doing well. Happy Police Week. Blessed are the peacemakers. Looking forward to seeing you at our event in Ashland on Sunday. Your mind, is it Diet Mountain Dew or regular? So I will tell you, Keith, I can't believe you got that wrong, my friend. It is Diet Mountain Dew. And I look forward to seeing you. And let's talk a little bit. Faith, first of all, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Good afternoon to you. But what Keith's talking about, Police Week. So in 1960s, John F. Kennedy designated this week as Police Week. Just remember that police officers who have given the ultimate sacrifice in serving their individual neighborhoods and communities, their cities, states, right? State police. So this week, not only in our nation's capital, right? The monuments up there with names engraved in stone and marble. There's also a state memorial in Richmond. Got to be a little bit a part of that, and then we have our own memorial monument here, just outside of City Hall here in Newport News. So, with those things, each department will hold a memorial service. So the nation has held theirs over the weekend and the beginning of this week. So we sent our honor guard up there. We had our memorial service Thursday of last week. We were at Calvary Chapel. We had a great turnout. We had a ninth grader from Heritage High School that just gave a phenomenal speech from her heart addressing officers and community. We had a 10-year-old girl who came up and just sang unbelievable. Singers from Calvary Chapel did an amazing song. Miss Celia Grinstead delivered remarks about service, and really what hit with me was she touched upon, when we come into this world and when we leave, and that dash in between, how we affect and what we give. That's what people will remember. That's what's important. It was just very, very powerful words and comments that she made, and then I addressed the department and the community, and in reference to the service that men and women do here day in and day out, what they face, what they see. God knows that I wish they never had to respond to. But the 12 individuals who have given the ultimate sacrifice in this department, that have laid their life down while serving others, others that may not be appreciative, others that may want to criticize, and certainly they're right, but also is due to them the respect that they gave, trying to serve others, losing their life in serving citizens of this community. Can you imagine what it would be like if there was no law enforcement? If every officer just went home for one day, what could happen, right? As we protect each other and our citizens, businesses, and things of our communities. And for that, I look at the department like a family. We may not always agree. I know we don't. But the men and women who work here, sworn in civilian, they matter to me. The sacrifices they make, the long hours of time away from their family, those that stay on the sidelines and criticize what they do, but not willing to do what they do. Not willing to sign up and go to a call where shots fired and possibly have to render aid to save someone's life, to go in harm's way, to run into a school building when others are running out. Those are real things. And to see them perform, it's humbling. Now, I'm not trying to put us on a pedestal. We make mistakes. We get it wrong. I'm not saying that we don't. But for people to come to work every day and not know what they're going to face, to tell their loved ones goodbye, and may be required to lay their life down, that to me is heroic. And you can't pay someone enough to do that. The bond that is created in law enforcement, or military men and women know it's the same thing. But that's why we do Memorial Week. I was in Hampton yesterday with several of our lieutenants and Chief Creswell in the Hampton Memorial Service, Chesapeake and Norfolk, Portsmouth, Virginia Beach, the state all have services this week. We're sending at least 2 representatives from our department to each one, and I plan to hit several more. I think there's 3 on Wednesday that we can't be at all of them at the same time, so we're breaking up and at least sending 2 to each service. But it's not just Newport News. It's here in the Hampton Roads area, here in the state of Virginia, and across our country as we look at that memorial services and just pause a moment and remember those that gave the ultimate sacrifice. And thank those that come to work every day, despite the odds and things they see and deal with, that still get up and come to work every day. There is no Monday through Friday 9 to 5. There is no off on Christmas and New Year's, and there is no summer break from school. It's every day. And for that, I am humbled and grateful. So I didn't mean to get up on that, but I did want to share with you. And then I want to tell you a little bit about our service as we go forward. So I got Key, Ms. Carter. I have to go, but I will try to turn it on your next session. That'd be great. Now I'll see you later. That'd be great. Johnny, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Keith, it sounds good. I hope to see you there, my friend. That'd be great. Miss Morgan, I enjoy these chats. Chief, thanks for doing them. Good. And Sergeant Millette. Well, I appreciate that. Sergeant Millette is one of our new sergeant down in recruiting, and don't let him fool you. I put a little bit of pressure on him. We need people in here, but he's going to bring something new to the table and some new energy, and I look forward to working with him. I don't know, he darts around the corner every time I come down the hall. I don't know. He knows what I'm going to ask him, right? So, but no, he's going to be great, and I'm glad he's there, and he's there for a reason. So, for the great So Funny video advertising and recruiting. So you saw the recruiting. So yeah. So Millette is in there working out all the time, and we may do a few other videos. There's some ideas, but I appreciate. I got a few laughs out of that, so I appreciate that. Rhea, how are you? Hope you should be in school too, focusing on school instead of being on here. But appreciate what you do in the Young Adult Police Commissioners and for coming to the ceremony as well. We talk about our memorial service. I think it's online, right, Matt? They can, but one of the things that got picked up on is every year we do a video in tribute to the officers, and in the video you show each officer that has given the ultimate sacrifice here in Newport News, and the day that they lost their life, and then there's other photographs and images of officers interacting and things that we do day in and day out. But I will tell you, we unclassified some clips of things that happened at Ridge Neck. And if you have not logged in to see that, I didn't realize national media would pick up on it and start looking at it, but there is one video, and I don't mean to embarrass either one of them. So I will not mention their names here, unless one of them or both of them chime in and say it's okay. But I will tell you there were two officers, two videos were released. One officer was going to the school. And so the call comes out, and he's driving, and he hits his body-worn camera, as we should, and that body-worn camera starts recording audio and visual. And that officer driving says a prayer, and he says, "Heavenly Father, please protect the children in the school, the officers that are about to enter, and help us make the decisions we need to make." He was saying a prayer for all those involved, kids, people in the school, faculty and staff, the officers. And for that to be in his mindset. And then he parks his car, he gets out, and he runs towards the school. And that, when we talk about police memorial and things that you don't know what you're going to face, I guarantee you he did not wake up that morning and think there's going to be a situation in the school. Nobody thinks about that. But we all have it in the back of our mind. We just don't know what that call is going to be. But to hear him hit that body-worn camera and pray for the students of this city, pray for officers and the whole situation, it was humbling to me. So we released that footage, not to embarrass him, but to highlight the kind of character that we have here. The second video is from inside the school, and it's one of our most highly trained officers, a sergeant that we have. And he's in some pretty fast-paced divisions and units where there's a lot of responsibility placed on him. And to see him training different divisions he works in, but to see him in the school, singing to kids, keeping them calm in a situation we would never think that a student would be involved in. But to see him keeping calm, singing with them as he moves them through the corridors of the hallway, high-fiving them, talking to them, showing that video, again, it shows compassion for young people, the compassion for people. And when I talked to him, both of them, before putting that video in, his words to me were, I have kids too, and I would hope that someone would do the same for my family. And the other talked about his faith, and it's just humbling. And some national media has already picked up on it and called, and I did not do that to embarrass the officers. I did that to highlight the men and women who are here and the things that they face and the price that they may be called to pay. That all of us realize when we put on this badge. Doesn't mean we're better than anybody else. It means we're held to a higher standard. But to put yourself in harm's way for other people, to me, is heroic. And so that video, if you haven't seen it, you can see it on our Facebook page. I think it's even on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. But it is the Newport News Police Memorial, and it was really amazing. So I just wanted to share that with you. If you we got some calls, and I just wanted to share that with you. So Kelly, right? Ms. Cox. Ms. Cox was there. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Carrie. It means a lot, and you being there. And I hope I was able to touch officers and citizens and pay respect to the 12 that have given the ultimate sacrifice. Katie Thiner, the last officer who died here on the line of duty, her daughter was there, and it was just my gosh, she's looks just like her, and she's so growing, and it's just very, very humbling, and it makes you stop and reflect what men and women do here and across this country every day. Kelly, thank you for the invite. Thank you. Thanks for being there. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you, Ashley. There's no reason for So Ashley, like I said, we're not going to go through it back and forth because I'm not exactly sure what it is. So if you want to reach out to me, I'm telling you now, I will call you right after this session, but I'm not sure what that case is. We'll have to talk about it, okay? I'm willing to do that. I just But I understand you're welcome to post. I can't answer because I haven't had a conversation with you. So, okay. Okay. As a retired teacher, oh, I viewed the video as fantastic. Wow, the officers leading those kids out and singing was everything. Kitty, I will tell you when I saw that, Sarah putting that video together just did an amazing job, and she found those videos pretty quickly. And I think there might have been a higher power directing her where to look. It was just to seeing those things, how they interacted. It was important, and so I appreciate that. And you taking a look at it means a lot. We had a really good turnout. Our mayor was there, our city manager was there, the two assistant city managers were present, and I think that goes a long way to show support. I think officers need that. You know, there's a study out of the governor's office looking at why officers pick certain departments to join. And I know in my head right away what I think, it's got to be money. But one of the top three reasons is, does the community and the government of that particular city support this police department? And I will tell you, and it's not like that everywhere, and I get it. You see it play across the news media, right? But I will tell you, it is humbling and very, very fortunate. We're very, very blessed. I am very, very blessed to work at a city where the city manager, city council, our mayor, school board, and assistant city managers are support in the community overall are supportive of the department. Now, each of those entities ask hard questions, and they all, hey, we have to be accountable for what we do. Judges, and we put those cases in front of a judge, and they make those decisions, or in front of a jury, and they make those decisions. The responses that we do, that's fitting, and it should be. There shouldn't be questions asked. But I will tell you, it is a blessing to work for individuals, elected officials, our government bodies, city officials, in a community, faith leaders who support what we do. And a lot of faith leaders have my phone number that will text me and ask me questions, talk to me about situations, ask me my opinion, and I reach out to them a lot. And hey, this is what I'm thinking about. Would you mind praying for? Can I share this with you? How would you handle this situation? This is what I'm thinking. What do you think? And I'm blessed to have that ability to do, and I'm thankful for that. So that's just important when people select where they want to put, where they may be putting their life on the line, right? That they have a city that supports them and is behind them, and we're very, very blessed. Banks. Ashley, I did. Okay, Ashley, I'll reach out to you. That sounds great. Banks, how can I locate those videos? So it's on our Facebook page, but I will probably have Matt post it here shortly. I don't know how he's much better at the computer stuff, but it's a great video. Well, I say that because I think it's great because what it shows us doing and what officers are called to do. I think Matt's typing it right now, but I will tell you the whole service is on our Facebook page, but just the video, it's about 5 minutes. It's if you have not seen it, I would strongly encourage you to watch it. Is that what you just posted on there, Matt? I think Matt just posted that. Like I said, it's about 5 minutes, but it's Keith, we'll be honoring Chief Joe Carey from Broadnax PD and Chesterfield Canine Corps at our event on Sunday. It was our privilege. You let us honor Katie Thine 2 years ago at our event. Man, Keith, that's amazing, and I appreciate it. It is, to bring all those entities together. I look forward to seeing you, my friend, and no dunk tank, but I look forward to seeing you. All right, be safe. Is it Carolyn? Carolyn Jackson. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, Carolyn. I'm just not sure what that is. I'm just not sure what that is. We're all caught up now. Didn't miss any. Scroll up just for a second. And go right above Keith. Just 1 second. Yeah, very good. Okay. So, I hope you take a moment and look at the video. We talked about our academies. A couple things we had in our city. We had a carnival here the last couple weeks, about 10 days. Everything went well there with no major issues. The city has a Night of Champions coming up on I think it's the 24th, where they're celebrating the high school victories that we've had. track and boys basketball from Woodside, and just the championships that we have won and celebrated here. So it's an event from is it 5 to 8? I think it's five. It's 3 hours. I think it's 5 to 8 o'clock at Todd Stadium, and then this weekend I think there is a gospel ceremony from on the ninth. Is it 19th, 20th, and 21st? Several churches have come together to hold an event, preaching and music at Todd Stadium. So we will be present there just for traffic control and those type things. I should have highlighted it before. Well, let me touch base on Anna first. For some reason, I think the memorial service this year was the best I've ever attended. All the speeches were so powerful, and the singing of the 10-year-old brought tears to my eyes. Miss Grinstead's speech was, yeah, and you've echoed everything I've said. I was very, it's hard to get up and talk about individuals who've laid their life down. And I said there, our military men and women, they get it, they understand that. But police officers, there's a bond. They can't go home and talk to their families about some of the things they see. And some officers don't want to. And it also concerns me, while we're there, let's just touch base on it a minute. The stuff that officers do see day in and day out, then they go home and get a good night's sleep and come back and do it again tomorrow. There's a lot of pressure and stress with that, from crime scenes to seeing what happens with kids and families, domestics, whatever it might be. So mental health is important. That's a big topic right now in law enforcement. I remember 30 years ago, we really didn't talk about it a lot. Hey, get a soda and catch your breath and go on to the next call. But today, I've tried to create an atmosphere here that, we do have a department psychologist. So myself and the other chiefs meet with a psychologist once a year. And there are certain divisions that are required to, special victims, our SWAT team, our forensic technicians. And sometimes, in the past, there's been some pushback. But usually, after that, it's pretty good conversation. I just want to make sure that I'm providing a service where they can talk and feel free to share some of the things that they may not feel comfortable sharing in other venues. But also, if there is a critical situation that we respond to, certainly a line of duty, death, we have officers trained with our CISM unit and our department psychologists, and it's not just officers, dispatchers and other jurisdictions, officers as well. Some of our team went over to work with Hampton, and Hampton has come to work with us. I think that's important. As officers see tragic traffic accidents where no one walks away from a loss of a life, a suicide. And a couple of weeks ago, we had a couple of suicides, and the same officer had responded to them, and they see that. So what happens is we can suppress it, but it doesn't leave our mind. It's there. This computer up here, it's there. And I don't want those outlets to come through alcohol and sleeping pattern issue. I don't want that to. So whether it's in their faith, whether it's physical activity, working out, whether it's interacting with friends and family, reading, I want there to be an outlet, and I want there to be an outlet here in this profession, in this department, that allows officers that ability. And I mean that from officers and dispatchers, from the stress that they're in and under and the things that they see. I think it's important to have that. So, Andy, you bring up a great point. But yeah, that's important. The other thing I wanted to touch base on, some notes I had here, is we've been doing bin etching in our jurisdiction. I'm going to mess this word up. Catalytic converters. We've been seeing an increase in those thefts, and with the saw, they're pretty. They were telling me you could get under a car and remove one in about 3 or 5 minutes. So imagine the damage going through a neighborhood or a parking lot or whatever it might be. So we've been doing bin etching, where we take the bin number and carve it in to the catalytic converter and then spray paint it. And the spray paint is color coded by jurisdictions. We've done several sessions. I saw them here at headquarters and at Midtown Community Center. They roll a car up on blocks, right? They get up underneath it, call out the VIN numbers, spray it in, etch it, and like, wow, they're doing that thing like 10 minutes. So if someone goes to remove one and they see that the VIN number's there, if they try to sell that or turn that in, it's going to have a VIN number that we can link back, and it may make them say, whoa, wait, I'm going to go this. I don't want to do this. This is going to be tied back to me. So we've been doing that for a while. They've been pretty successful. I thought, they would do about maybe 25, 30 cars, but they're doing upwards like 60, 70, 80 cars a session. That's pretty impressive. They're rolling. So I got to go out and see them, the work that they do. We've got officers and mechanics that are out there with us doing that. So it's pretty good stuff. And it is coming up again, as Anna just is coming up again this Saturday from 9. Is it 9 to 5? I think it's 9 to 4. Where are they doing it at? Are they doing it here at police headquarters? So you can call ahead and schedule that, or you can just show up. And what we found, I think what they would tell you is some officers come, or I'm sorry, some citizens come and they'll get a car done, and they're like, hey, we're going to go and get another car, or my son's car, or whatever. So it's pretty good stuff. And I would encourage you, if that's something you're interested in, to come get that done. It's just a precautionary, but it's good. Cameron, the holiday community days. So what we've done, what Cameron's talking about in the past is 3 precincts. Our city's linear, right? North, Central, and South precinct. Each precinct has done a community day in the summer. And some are very, very successful and some are not. Weather plays a role. It's hot, but we try to do some cookouts and some food and different things. But we're going to try something different this year. This year, each precinct is going to do precinct walks during multiple times a month in June, July, and August. So a couple of different walks we have. So there's a care walk that we do after a traumatic incident, usually a loss of life or a traumatic incident in the community, where we come out and just try to if anybody has information, that's great. But the main purpose is to let people know we're still here, to fill in some information, questions they might have. Hey, what happened here? What happened last night at 2 in the morning? I heard lights and sirens, and I don't know what happened. To check on people, to check on students. We've had people from schools walk with us. Our mayor walks with us on those care walks. But it's just kind of reestablishing we're still here. We're still with you and answering any questions and checking on people in the community after something traumatic happens. And then we have our community walks where we'll get together as a department and walk a community and just pass out information. Hey, we just wanted to stop and let you know we're here. Any issues in the community, in the neighborhood, but that'll be a department-wide walk that we would do. On Fridays, I'm trying to get back into just walking the neighborhood myself. And if officers come, that's great. If citizens come out and walk with me, that's great. If you want to come out on your front porch and just have a conversation, that's great. And if not, that's fine too. I get my steps in anyway, right? But it's just a chance for me to get out and interact with the community a little bit. And sometimes people walk on their front porch and wave, and we'll talk for a minute, and other citizens will come out and walk with me. So, but this summer, we're going to do precinct walks that are specific to certain neighborhoods and certain areas. And my intent for that is for you to meet your captain. There'll be a flyer with the captain and the 3 lieutenants, the 2 sector lieutenants that are responsible for the geographical areas, the tactical or investigative lieutenant, and then either a second sheet or on the back with some trends and patterns, some safety tips. But it's just for us to get out and interact with you. And it's my hope that we'll be inviting councilmen and women from the districts to accompany us in those walks. We'll invite the mayor, city officials. I just think it's a good way to get out, and it's great to have sessions. But I'll tell you, there's something to be said for shaking hands with somebody at their front door and putting something in their hand. Are you okay? And how are things going? How long you lived in the community? Well, hey, my name is Steve, and so it's just that's what we're going to do this summer. We're going to try to focus on some of that. And so Cameron, I hope that answered your question. And I'll be asking the high school kids and youth commissioners to come out and walk with us, to interact, talk a little bit about the programs they're in. We've got their gala coming up, so we're going to get together at the hotel there and celebrate, give out some awards for the stuff that they have done during this year, and talk about them. Those kids are something special, man. I love them, and they drive me crazy sometimes, right? Chick-fil-A, Papa John's, Domino's, Subway, you name it. But to see them do things at the food bank, to see them come to city council meetings, to see them interact with the mayor, to see them walk in communities, to hold discussions with these youth forums that we have and be the moderator between students and law enforcement, to see them walk in the community with me and talk to people, to see them, when I ask them how they feel about certain issues, when we talk about diversity, when we talk about equity, when talk about what they want to see from their community, from their elected officials, what they want to see from their schools, the concerns that they have at schools, what they want to see from their police department, the concerns they have in the police department. And I still get taken back by one commissioner. The whole time she's been with us, every year she says, when I wave at an officer, please wave back at me. And where that comes out is our final discussion before a recruit class graduates. Some of those recruits are just a couple years older than those high school kids, high school students. And we intermingle, right? Not recruits on one side, students on the other. We're all equally, and we talk to each other. And conversations, why did you join the Young Adult Police Commissioners? Why did you become a police officer? What are your interests? But I'll tell you, the question that hits me more than anything, it's usually towards the end. And I ask the students, what do you want to see? Matt, remind me to talk about Community Week. What do you want to see from officers that are going to graduate and soon be in the neighborhoods and communities patrolling where you live? And the students say, don't judge me by my race, by my skin color, by where I live, my zip code, from what you've seen from other youth. Judge me for me. Interact with me for me. And then we ask the same thing to the officers. Officers who are getting ready to join this profession full-time in communities and neighborhoods, responding to calls. And the officers tell the students, don't judge me from what you see from other officers you have interactions with. Don't judge me from what you see in other states or what you see on the news. Judge me for me. And I don't know that either students, stimulus, or the department, we do enough teaching on that, right? As we talk about, it's going to take me in a whole nother direction now with our academy, as we talk about how do we encourage that and teach that. So one of the things we do with our recruits here in Newport News is during the academy, 7 or 8 months, we shut down everything for a week, and we call it Community Week. And we work with a local pastor who has and Miranda Eccles plays a big role in helping us coordinate that. And we will deal with interact with individuals that are homeless, individuals that have drug addictions, our high schools, our elementary schools, walking in our communities, sitting down at churches and having open discussions, community concerns and relationships between police and citizens and community. And Dr. Lyons all the time talks to me about it is about communication, relationships, personalities, working together, treating everyone with respect, all the way around, whether you're in uniform or not, right? But we take our recruits out and do that, and we can talk about the benefits of community policing. We can show that in a classroom. We can tell those stories, but to take recruits out and let them actually do it before they even become sworn officers, before they ever walk across the stage, I think that's impactful. So I was myself and Chief Hires, and Chief Creswell were at a meeting in James City County. We met with some other departments there, and the FBI had a forum, and it was with citizens and local jurisdictions and the FBI, and we shared that. And unbeknownst to me, 2 individuals, one who is a mentor to an individual in our department who just graduated recently, said, I've talked to him about the academy, and his fondest memory is that Community Week. And then there was a mother who has a son in the department for a couple of years, and she said, my son still talks about Community Week in the academy. That tells me something, that on-hand experience is invaluable. How they interact with citizens when they walk in the community or knock on a door in a NNPD sweatshirt or jersey or T-shirt, whatever it might be. Hey, I'm a police recruit, and I'm going to be an officer soon, and I just want to introduce myself. That's powerful. I think the more relationships we have, the more conversations we have, we can decrease the number of confrontations we have. So that's been very, very, for me, that's been powerful. One of the things we set them through, we worked with Human Services, and they did a poverty simulation. I think that's the title of it. So basically what happens is they're in groups, and they're given a set income, and they're given a history of who they are, their family. If they're a single mother, single father with X number of kids. And then they're put through scenarios, doctor's appointments, discipline at school, job interview, things that people go through in everyday life. And there's meant to be conflict in scheduling and issues, and then there may be an inject. Well, something happened to one of your sons or daughters. Do you know where they're at? And you see the frustration, like, well, I'm trying to make these 2 appointments, or deciding on what bills to pay, make these appointments, and now I've got to stop this and go deal, and I'm going to miss out. I got to come back in 2. And it takes us through reality of people's lives. Now, when they're going through some of those frustrations, and you interact now with a traffic stop, or a neighbor calls about loud noise, some of the frustration people feel may be of other things going on. And I think it just helps us relate and understand people better, and understand some of the struggles that people have and concerns. And it doesn't just have to be poverty, but if that's a simulation they're able to work through. And some of our individuals that are more challenged with that, that come into contact with law enforcement, or law enforcement come into contact with them, to understand. But the bigger picture is that you never know what someone's going through when you interact with them. And most of the calls we respond to are generated by someone calling the police, needing help themselves or help for someone else. So I just think it was a great way to build relationships, to get some insight into what people are going through in situations. So we try all that to make our training better. My hope is when we move into our new academy and it's expanded with the classrooms and the simulator that we'll have there, the defensive tactic mats that we'll have right there. We don't have to keep going to different locations to do different training. The number of classrooms from now going from 2 to 6 will be huge for us, and we can run in-service and training all in the same place at the same time. Technology that we'll put in there, but I will tell you that I'm going to add classes on psychology. I'm going to add classes on sociology. How things affect a community, how people think, how they feel about things. I want a history class, right? What is the history of our city? How did the shipyard come into place? Tell me the backstory of where soldiers in World War I loaded on ships here down by the shipyard. But I just think that's important. What's the history of the Southeast community? When did we annex Warwick? How did all those things come into play? So I want that history class, sociology, psychology, and I want to bring in outside individuals, not necessarily instructors, but individuals. I'd like pastors to come in and tell about some of the problems in communities and what they face and how they deal with them. I'd like to have someone from the education field come in and work with us on writing reports, the who, what, where, when, how, and why. Those main elements that we're looking for in the Commonwealth Attorney's Office when we present the case, right, to the judge or jury or the Commonwealth Attorney about, hey, here's what. Well, I can't even understand the report. So all those things I'd like to add and fine tune and advance on, and so those are just some of the things I wanted to share with you. Before I get off here, I know we're getting close on time. I want to thank the partnership we have from the Police Foundation. They were the ones that were able to fund our event that we just had, our memorial ceremony, the other events that we have. I appreciate the work that they do. We just had our breakfast a couple weeks ago and did some really good fundraising. I want to thank all those that were there. I want to thank partnerships we have with our schools. Dr. Mitchell and others were at our police memorial. School board president, Mrs. Searles Law, was there, and we got to have some conversation with her and see them sit with some of their students. It's impactful. And a lot of our elected, Tiffany Boyles was there, Commissioner of the Revenue, and members of the NAACP joined us, and it was a good event. It reminds me that we're all in this together. We're all trying to make things better for our city, our community, and that, at the end of the day, is important. The best thing we have in our city are the 187,000 citizens that live here, those that work here and go to school here. I want to be thankful for the partnership we have with our school system, the Commonwealth Attorney's Office. We've done some meetings already this week and last week about some cases that are upcoming, and cases that are going to trial or grand jury. So I just share that with you a little bit about what some of the things that have happened last couple weeks, where we're at today, where we're at tomorrow. I'll be back at 6 o'clock this evening Is there anything I left off, Matt? I know I wanted to talk about Community Week. We did bin etching. We talked about the recruit class. We talked about memorial service. If you get a chance to attend any of the other jurisdictions' memorial services, I would encourage that. And I would love to hear any feedback. If anybody that logged on, if anybody got to watch that video, I think Matt, you posted it up there. I'd love to know your thoughts, your ideas, how you felt when you saw it. What did you think about it? There's been some entities that have called and said, hey, can we just get body-worn footage of Rich Neck? And a memorial service wasn't about Rich Neck. Our memorial service was a totality picture of what officers deal with. And in situations where they may be called to play the ultimate sacrifice. But I wanted to use some clips of that to show how officers respond, what goes through their mind, how they put the thoughts and care towards others before themselves, how they say a prayer about kids in our community in situations. So I'd love to get any feedback from individuals who watch that video and what your thoughts are. Keith, I appreciate that, Keith. I don't know about all that, man, but I will. I'll see you Sunday, and I look forward to being up there in Ashland to stop by there. And there's a couple of community events we have this weekend here in Newport News. There's a Hispanic seminar on Saturday, so I'm going to stop by there. And then again, we've got the bin etching that we talked about already. So I just appreciate those that took the time. I know life is busy and challenging, and if you get bored and want to tune in later and catch up on any of these conversations, but I will be back at 6 o'clock this evening. I think I got 1 or 2 calls to make from people who posted some numbers here, so I hope to be able to get in touch with them. But I appreciate you. I'll end with thanking the men and women who do this job day in and day out in this memorial service. Memorial Week, from our dispatchers to officers, sworn and civilian both, that work behind the scenes, the stuff that they do. I know this job is hard. I know it is demanding, but I also believe it's a higher calling, and it is very, very rewarding if you have a heart of service and to help other people. I don't know of any other profession where you get to get up every day and have the ability to help someone in one of the most challenging times they have. So I appreciate the work that men and women do here. I appreciate those that have been here, done this job and retired, those that do this job here and across the country. I just think it's a heart of service, and I can't teach that. I can show you the benefit. I can give you our values toward it, but I can't teach that. You have to have that coming into this organization. So I just wanted to say thank you. So please be safe. Look out for one another. Graduation is just around the corner. So like I said, I'll be attending those, but remember, school's going to be out. I'll do this again tonight, but our next session will be in June. So I look forward to talking to you. Maria, thank you. And don't forget, I'm working on that. So God bless. Please be safe, and I'll see you guys again at 6 o'clock this evening. Thank you.